Green, Win, and Serwanga, LLP. Week 3, Power Rankings. Special edition. Hey, Johnny, how's it going, buddy?
I'm doing all right, Kamish. How you doing?
It's feeling pretty good here from the interim commissioner's office in sunny Crystal.
Yeah, I'm in beautiful New Brighton right now. I'm in my office. I'm on the clock, so don't tell anyone.
Yeah, same. All right, it's a good thing I published this publicly on my own YouTube channel. All right,
Yeah.
what do you say we take a look at some results from last week?
I like the results, so let's do that.
Oh man, sad. Squeaks by, slamming Willie by 1 point. 91-90. Brady's bad hombres skates by glorious TDs, 82-70. That's Bilal, folks. Can't handle the Edina Bulldogs, 77-68. The Woodhead kerfuffle smacks down. Here to trump you up, 94-67. Smallwood got crab tree.
Nice name, not.
Takes a huge salami to Geordie Shore, 111-76. The Fat Squad by a few neck rolls over a shitty circus, 86-83. And finally, OB Jerry Curl cruises to victory over all-time lowest scorer Andrew Cuck, 83-33. I'm not the league historian or archivist or whatever, but is that the least amount of points you've ever seen?
It's definitely in the top 3. I know some people. I've seen 30s before, but it's very rare. That's a really low output. And now I believe Corey Coleman.
Yes, broke his hand. So the guy who proposes the Mike Evans trade, thinking he's a fantasy genius, was a 25-point dog and lost by 50. So it was not pretty. Anything else stand out to you? Week 1, obviously Dave's team's on a roll, but
yeah, Crabtree with 3 touchdowns, I believe. I was with Dave's brother actually at Sensors this weekend watching that. No, nothing really stands out, to be honest. There's some close games. My team won again. That's all I really give a shit about.
Yeah, you're definitely on a roll. All right, well, let's take a look at the standings. All right, 2 weeks in, don't need to spend a lot of time here, but obviously Dave leading the Serwanga division because he's had a shit ton of points both weeks. The Win division still being led by Brady's bad hombres, despite not having David Johnson in the lineup anymore. But still could change quite a bit with many weeks to play.
Yeah, it's week 2.
All right, let's see how we got them stacked up, eh?
Yeah.
Number 14. Andrew Cuck. Brandon's 1-1, moved down 5 spots, 33 points. Coleman gets hurt. Howard gets hurt. And for some reason, Josh Gordon's on his roster. I don't know. I mean, from the guy who robbed him of Mike Evans, how do you feel about this team?
Well, I obviously don't feel very good about it, especially now with part of that trade being hurt, and I thought Coleman was going to have a pretty good year, so I didn't hate the trade as much as you, obviously.
Yes.
But the only thing about this is it sucks that Brandon couldn't have been at the draft, because I'm pretty sure he would have drafted a better team than auto draft. So I feel bad for him, but I also don't. The thing I feel worse about is I think he was at some like Amish festival that day.
Yeah, well, I would feel bad about the auto draft thing, but I think I made an effort to make sure everyone could chime in if they couldn't make it. So he paid the auto draft tax, and we'll see if he can improve from number 14. Let's move on. My slides aren't auto advancing. Number 13, Geordie Shore. 0-2, moved down one spot. This is some gross negligence starting Andy Dalton again. I see the Geordie curse is. Am I right in saying that the team that has Geordie's never made the playoffs, or is it just a?
No, they made the playoffs. They just never win. I made the playoffs with Geordie on my team last year. I think I was an 8 seed.
Yes.
He had a great year, but the rest of my team got just decimated by injuries. So
it's a real thing.
It's real, man.
Yeah. T.Y. Hilton can't do anything without Andrew Luck. And then Evan Engram looks decent, I guess. That's about the only positive thing I have to say about the Swift's team here. I hope you're enjoying the beach, because fantasy team's bad.
I agree.
Number 12. Here to trump you up. Okay. Matthews 0-2. Moves up a spot. And honestly, it's just moving up through attrition, basically, because the other two teams are bad. I see Manny Sanders had a good game. Ebron scored somehow. I'm not an Eric Ebron believer. But otherwise, I see this team as being very worthy of the new Denny's turd avatar.
Yeah, I agree. It's a bad team. I had the luxury of playing them this week. I didn't even have to watch the Monday night game because it was already in hand. So, yeah, I think number 12 is a good spot for now here. But, yeah, like you said, lots of season left. There could be many injuries and trades, hopefully, that happen along the way. So we'll see.
Yeah, I would like to see the trade market heat up a little bit, because there are some teams that have like QB depth and things like that that they might make sense to see a few deals. But let's move on. Well, we don't want to spend too much time on the bottom of the league. Number 11, that's Bilal, folks. OC is better golfer than fantasy owner, I think.
Oh, really?
He shot pretty decent at Oak Marsh on Sunday. I was witness to this. So I see A-Rod is good, and then the rest of the team not so much. Greg Olsen gets hurt. No backup tight end on the roster. I guess if you want a ray of sunshine, Alshon put up some yardage, and I think he scored. So maybe he can be, productive. But he's got to go and find a tight end out of waivers, and still has Bilal Powell on his roster.
Yeah, I have Bilal Powell on my other roster, my other squad in a different league, and I'm pretty disappointed in that. I thought he was going to be the feature back at least on a shitty team, so he's like my fourth running back, but it's not panning out. And to have your team name named after
right,
yeah, that's just kind of sad. I'm sorry.
Comments on Michael's golf game.
I've played with OC maybe 6 times this year. And, yeah, he's got a lot of things to work on, but he goes out there and has fun. And the thing about your game, OC, that is the biggest marvel to me is you fucking hit a driver on par 3s sometimes. Somehow it works out for you. I don't know how you do it, but, yeah, we should play again soon.
All right. Number 10, a shitty circus. Peter's 0-2. Took a tough beat, scoring in the 80s. Gronk had a good week. Breeze was good, but I mean, if you have Matt Forte and Devin Funchess in your starting lineup, it's tough to expect victory.
Yes, very much so, especially with Forte. I mean, I don't know. It goes back to the whole Jets running back thing, and I think Forte is probably this McGuire guy seems okay. But I think out of the three guys that they're playing, Forte is probably the worst. He's over the hill. He used to be great. But more importantly than anything, he's on the Jets. So,
right. Although, and we'll get to it on your team, there is one Jet who might be worthy of owning.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9. Oh, man. Sad.
Whoops.
It's not my presentation skills are in the shitter right now. My team bounced back a little bit and gave KG a bad beat, winning by 1 point, even though, as you rightly pointed out, I didn't start Dez. And as KG pointed out, I paid way too much for Kerwin. It was kind of a desperate move, panic move after week 1. But it looks like Ertz is pretty good. Ty Montgomery is looking solid. And then I feel really good about Chris Carson maybe being the top running back in Seattle. So as far as I'm concerned, it's all roses and bunny rabbits. But, John, why don't you go ahead and shit on my team?
Well, desperation is a stinky cologne. That being said, you did have to do something. I mean, I'm glad you spent $41 on Ertz. But, yeah, I mean, Ertz is the real deal. I drafted him on my other team. He's putting up numbers. He hasn't even gotten the end zone yet, but he's put up, I think, 80+ yards both weeks. So, and like 7 or 8 catches. The Carson pickup, I don't know, did you draft him?
I drafted him. I paid $2 for him.
Yeah, so that was a good play by you because that backfield is a mess. However, the offensive line also sucks.
Yes.
I wouldn't get too excited about him.
Yeah, well, I'll try and contain it.
But, yeah, good win this week.
Thank you. Number 8, Fat Squad. Moves up 3 spots from number 11. Carlos Hyde, 90-some yards. Kelvin Benjamin, same, was pretty good. Keenan scored over 100 yards, didn't score a touchdown. Concerns with the Fat Squad, aside from the fat players on the team, is that Dak, I think, is a better quarterback in real life and just managing a game and winning than he is in fantasy, and I don't see Andrew Luck being back anytime soon.
No, I don't either. Biggest concern for me on this team, and you may have mentioned it last week, I don't know, a lot of injury-prone players. So,
right.
Can this team hold up? We'll see.
Number 7, glorious TDs. All right, Ben is 1-1. I moved him down 2 spots after scoring in the 70s. Obviously, Hunt's, steal of the draft. He looks elite already. And Abdullah behind that Lions O-line I thought looked pretty good. Surprised me because I've never been a big fan. But no production from Antonio Brown and Brandon Cooks. And then I just have a hard time counting on Tyrod Taylor as your QB1. So I think that puts a real ceiling on how productive this team can be.
Yeah, I agree. I do, however, think that those receivers are going to pan out. Obviously, Antonio Brown will. But I think Cooks will get in the mix as the season goes along, too. I don't care how Amir Abdullah did this week. He sucks unless proven otherwise consistently. And, yeah, Hunt is the steal of the draft for sure. He's good. He's good catching balls. He's good running balls. He's probably on track for Rookie of the Year offensively.
Yeah, I would say that, Dalvin and Fournette, those running backs have a chance to give them a run for the money, but KC, that's the best offense out of all those rookies, and he's unchallenged as far as touches go.
Well, I would say the Vikings offense could be better if they don't have Case Keenum at quarterback.
Yeah, in 6 weeks when Teddy comes back.
Oh, man.
I want Sam this week too. We'll see. All right. Number 6, OB Jerry Curl. Bobby is 1-1. He stays in the 6th spot. Okay. It's a mixed bag here. Brandon Marshall apparently became bad overnight. Zeke Elliott looks like he kind of quit or something. I don't know how you have 8 yards when you're Ezekiel Elliott and you play behind that line. Hunter Henry had kind of a break. No, sorry, not Hunter Henry. Derrick Henry looks like he might be poised to break out because DeMarco had a hamstring issue. And then I think I said last week something really stupid that, Kelsey's probably not the tight end one. The only guy who can challenge him is probably Gronk. So Kelsey was a monster. I'd be concerned with AJ Green after a couple weeks. So I don't know. I think Bobby got some good players, but it's iffy here. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree on all counts. It's there's probably going to be some really high scoring weeks for Bobby, and there's probably going to be some really shitty weeks. I think that number 6 seems like a pretty good spot, somewhere middle of the road, at least at this point.
Yep, probably. I mean, playoff team, but if Henry's the top running back in Titans, even if it's just for a few weeks, look out because he'll rack up some victories.
Yep.
Number 5, Brady's Bad Hombres. All right, Boyd is 2-0, moves up 2 spots. Brady gets, looked a lot better, but it was against a shitty Saints defense. Not a lot of depth on this team after the DJ injury. LeGarrette Blount didn't do anything. I think they only ran the ball 13 times in Philly this week. On the plus side, Derek Carr is sitting on the bench, so perhaps some trade bait. What do you think? Can this team bounce back from losing the number 1 overall player and still make the playoffs?
Yeah. I can't think of their entire roster off the top of my head right now. But you do have Brady and you do have Carr. So, yeah, like you said, that you can make up for the loss of David Johnson. Maybe not entirely, but you can use – you can trade Carr. There's some teams out there, like, for instance, we talked about Tyrod Taylor starting on a team earlier.
Right.
So that's something to look into for Boyd, I think.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to do something, though, because I can totally see the wheels falling off without – beyond 1 or 2, pretty good players, it could get a little dicey. And it just sucks that Johnson goes down. But we'll see what happens, see if Boyd can work a miracle. Number 4, Edina Bulldogs. Shane is 2-0. Moves down a spot. He was the lowest scoring winner, I believe, scoring in the 70s. Eifert gets hurt. I've been surprised by the Rams offense, and in particular Gurley's production. Now, Gurley obviously super freak coming out of Georgia, but watching him at the end of last year and in the preseason this year, he looked very average to me. But he's been productive. On the plus side, along with Gurley, see Devontae Adams having 99 yards and a touchdown, and if Jordy misses any time or Cobb misses any time, he's going to continue to be productive. But for this team to be any better than the 4 spot, Odell has got to get on track, and I don't see the Giants. It looks like the wheels are falling off for the Giants. So,
yeah, that offensive line is shitty. There's like 5, 6, 7 teams in the league with just awful offensive lines. And I said it about the Giants before. I think the year that they won that Super Bowl against the undefeated Patriots, they were 0-2 or 0-3 to start, and then they obviously righted the ship. So I think that Beckham will pan out eventually. In fact, I hope he does because he's on my other team. So Plus, he's a special talent. They'll figure out a way to protect Manning a little better, and I'm sure Beckham will be all right. I don't know about Devontae as number one though. That's a classic case of buying into preseason hype, I think. More importantly, though, what is the deal with that picture of the bulldog? Does it have two dicks or what? I mean, what is that?
I'm pretty. It's a good question, but I think those are teats. It was.
Oh,
It was. Yeah, it's a female. It's a bitch. I just looked for the most hideous bulldog picture I could find, and those teats were really jumping out at me. So.
Those are some heavy hangers right there. Jesus.
They are. It's one of those things Shane's never going to escape being Medina Bulldogs in my eyes.
Fair.
Number 3, Slammin' Willie. Cage takes a bad beat, and I apparently didn't update my bullet points here. I apologize to everyone for my poor pre-production here. So you might see some similar bullet points here, but we can talk about Kevin's team anyway. So Macklin scores another touchdown. Le'Veon looked a lot better to me. And I think Alex Smith is like right behind or just in front of Trevor Siemian for being the most productive player in fantasy so far this season. So I see his team as being really good despite losing in a shitty way to me. But what do you think here?
Yeah, it's a good team. I think the Goodlands are actually 1 and 2 in scoring in the league.
Yeah, so. They are.
I don't trust Macklin, although he did score a touchdown this last week. Le'Veon will get better as the season goes along. I don't know about Alex Smith staying this productive. In fact, I can almost guarantee it won't happen.
Right.
But, yeah, this is a top 3 team. I think it'll hold up through the year, provided there's not an injury problem.
Sure. Yeah. I think it'll be top 3 for sure. Number 2, Smallwood got Crabtree. So actually 2-0 for Dave. Moves up a couple spots. High points this week with, 111 points. That's quite a few. Concern about DeMarco being hurt. Crabtree scoring 3 TDs. Perhaps, as far as fantasy is concerned, he gets the better matchup every week because the top corner is going to be on Cooper. And so Crabtree gets to go against the lesser corner, and he's a better red zone target. He's been so far he's the wide receiver 1 in fantasy. And then inexplicably, Jason Witten is the top tight end after 2 weeks. I think that, he'll come back to earth a little bit there. But this is a good team.
I agree. Who's their quarterback again? I can't remember.
Off the top of my head, I am not totally sure. But if we can stall for a second, I'll look it up.
Yeah, I can try to stall. I'm not sure to what extent DeMarco is hurt. You said it was a hamstring. Those can linger, as I know, with Danny Woodhead. So,
yeah.
Released. He's on the market for anyone who's interested. He's out there. You can just pick him up.
Right. Yeah. You can do whatever you want with him. He's like, So he's got Rivers, and he doesn't have a backup on his roster.
That's going to be troublesome, perhaps, but Rivers is a good starter. I mean, he probably got him for $1.
Right. No, I mean, he's been good. I watched that Monday night game week 1. I didn't watch against Miami, but to me, he's getting a bunch of cheap fantasy points. He's been, he's getting yards or whatever, but I don't think he's played all that well. And the last 3 years after week 12 or whatever, he sucks the second half of the year because he just has to throw too often. He's getting old. I mean, he's our age.
He's old and he has like 20 kids, so
yeah,
he'll wear you down.
He's a good Catholic man, and he doesn't cuss. So if you're looking for role models for your children,
sure.
Yeah, probably don't pick him. Number 1, the Woodhead Kerfuffle. 2-0. Mike Evans, you fucker. I don't like to curse on here a lot, but that's worthy of a curse. Ajayi is fantastic. And then Jarvis Landry had 13 catches, which if this was pure PPR, obviously he's a lot more valuable. But getting the quarter-point PPR, he still put up some points. And it's not you're counting on him. I think you would probably rotate him in as a flex guy. The concern I have for your team is that Russell Wilson is playing behind an awful line, which is going to limit his production.
Correct.
And then you have Bradford, which you seem to not be as concerned as I am.
Well, you got to be concerned after this week. I thought all week he was going to be fine. Now we don't know. I mean, we know it's a bone bruise, which apparently can be shitty for a while, and it's hard to diagnose as far as a timetable. So, I'm fantasy-wise, I'm not too concerned. I can just pick up another backup. So.
Like Case Keenum.
Or Trevor Siemian. Is he still out there?
He is. The QB2 is out there.
Right. So I'm not too concerned about that. As a Vikings fan, I am concerned because Case Keenum is not the answer. As far as my team, though, I'm very happy with everything except for, as you said, the quarterback situation. The Seahawks offensive line is garbage. Maybe that translates into some Wilson rushing touchdowns. I am concerned after watching these first two games and them putting up, 12 plus 9, 21 points total or something? Yeah.
Yes, no touchdowns, right?
They had one touchdown. Blair Walsh missed the extra point. Though.
Okay. Well, hey, Kai Forbath is just as bad. Yeah, I don't know. I think, Seahawks legit concern, but if they can right the ship, you're strong at every position. You got touchdown makers and, 2 running backs, 2 receivers who are going to score touchdowns. So, I see you being, the top team right now and top 2, top 3 the rest of the way. All right, let's take a look at some predictions for Week 3. Oh man, sad. Thumps, Fat Squad, 89-75. In a matchup of elite fantasy football minds, the Goodland brothers clash, and Dave comes out on top, 101-99. Glorious TDs with an easy victory over Here to Trump you up in what will probably be a suckfest. Edina Bulldogs destroys Andrew Cuck 83-11. The Woodhead Kerfuffle with a victory over I don't know who you're playing. The meters is in my other league. But you win.
It's against Swift.
Yes, that is Swift. This is the problem with doing a live conference. You can't fix the typos. Brady's Bad Hombres. By a lot over That's Bilal, folks. 77-57. And finally, a shitty circus by a touchdown in an upset over the enigmatic Obi Jerry Curl. All right. That's what I think is going to happen this week. You can see the lines in there. We've got some heavy favorites in a couple different places. So, I don't know. We might have some lopsided results to share next week. Any parting thoughts?
Go Woodhead Kerfuffle.
Yes. Cheer yourself on. I think everyone should have a great week except Steven. I hope his team sucks ass.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining. I'm glad we could do this. If anyone else would like to, we'll welcome guests every week. Reminder, if you want to do the high points thing, you got to let me know. We got to do that tomorrow. So I'll also send out a text and an email, but hopefully we can get some folks that are in on that and we can throw a little extra money around. Until next week, good luck.
Good luck.
Bye-bye now.